Hi, everybody. This is Miss O'Neill, and we're going to talk through how to do just a couple basic knots with the macrame techniques. And the very first one that we need to talk about is the knot that secures to whatever kind of post that you're going to use, whether that be a ring, a hoop, or a dowel stick like this one. So that's going to be called the lark's head knot. All of our abbreviations and things like that always end in a K because it is shorthand for knot. So there's two types of lark heads knot. This first one right here, where you can see the loop over the horizontal part of this, that is going to be the regular lark's head knot. And then this one here, where you do not see the loop going over, instead we understand that it is behind, this is the reverse lark's head knot. The only difference is aesthetically which one you like more and the way that you go about looping them. So to show you how this works, I'm just going to remove this first one, and then I'm going to stick my piece of twine through one side over top of this dowel stick. As you do this, you'll create a loop. With this loop, I'm going to stick the extra pieces of my twine through that loop. As you pull tightly, you see the loop kind of closing in where we get that horizontal line again to match. So that's how you do a regular lark's head knot. Now I'm going to remove this piece to show you the reverse of that. As I'm sure you guys can probably imagine, instead of going over to do the reverse, we're just simply going to go under our dowel stick to get that reverse lark's head knot. Okay, so you'll do this anytime that you want to secure your macrame to the actual structure that you're using, or however you're using to hang it up. Now, the other thing is about whenever you do these are usually securing knots where they will be equal at the end. So it is important when you're tying that knot to make sure that they're equal all the way from one side to the other. So you can see that with this one here, that they're slightly off. Before I kept going, I'd probably want to take the time to readjust these. Okay. The next knot we're going to look at is how to do the most basic of knot types, and that is going to be called the square knot. The square knot ends up looking like this right here. And in order to get this to go right, you are going to need two lark's head knots tied to the dowel stick in order to start this. So again, that's how you do that lark's head knot. Pull tight, make sure that they're nice and secure at the bottom, and then you're ready to get started. These two middle pieces that are closest and touching to each other, these are going to be the supporting pieces, the pieces that we're going to tie our knots around. So in macrame, this is common so that way you can get a little bit more width or depth on your knots, or so that they appear a little bit thicker. That means these two on the edge, these are going to be the ones that we're actually using to tie the knots. So I'm going to drop the middle pieces for a second, and then I'm going to just deal with these two pieces. So go ahead and take your pieces in your hand this way. And then the next thing I'm going to do is 1/2 of the square knot. So to start this, I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to put part of the twine under those two center pieces. When I do this, I'm going to take the rest of that twine from my right hand and loop it over top of my left piece. So this is what it should look like at the very beginning. Okay, so I've got my right piece of twine going under the two middle ones and over the one on the left. Now I'm going to take my left piece of twine and I'm going to loop it over the two middle pieces and through the loop that I just created with my right piece. So before I pull tight, it should look something along this line. So you can see I've got a piece on the behind those two middle parts, and then I've got another piece in front of those two middle parts. Now I'm going to pull tight to bring that all the way up to the dowel stick. Okay. So this right here is called half of a square knot. The reason it is half is because we actually need to do two of this like square knot in order to get like one full square knot. So looking back at that example, you can see the little V it makes with a little horizontal or vertical piece coming down. That is one square knot. So what we did is we just created half of that, just that first little half. Now we're gonna do the other half. So last time I started with my